So first we're gonna go with what's in the greenhouse first. On the left-hand side, I won't go into a lot of detail with the citrus trees. There won't be a whole lot of developments with these since they're trees over the next few months or so. But if I do have any like big developments with them, I'll go into more detail about it. But on the left, like last time, is just all the citrus trees. And then on the right, some of the stuff we planted last week or a couple weeks ago. Lima beans have sprouted. The Carolina Reaper peppers have finally sprouted. And I transplanted one of those into here. So that's just one of the Carolina Reaper peppers that sprouted earlier this week. Some more strawberries in here still. Just looking for somebody to give these away to. So that's why they're still in this small pot. The lettuce has sprouted about 3 or 4 plants. I'll probably thin it out to about 2. Maybe in the next week or so. And then these other beans are about to sprout. They're just coming out of the dirt. They'll probably sprout within the next couple of days or so. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for the greenhouse. So next I'll go over to the other garden beds, and I'm gonna actually harvest some stuff today too. So, all right, so on the right hand side, if you can look closely, you can see there's a whole lot of the peas have really started to, you know, flower and sprout. Not many of them are ready to be harvested yet, but it's a whole lot. Like a lot of the vines are really flowering, so I'll have a whole lot of peas within the next couple weeks, next couple of days or so. Here is the carrots. The carrots will be ready to harvest pretty soon too. Probably 2 or 3 more weeks once they start poking out of the dirt, and then you can actually see the top of the carrot. You'll see it's like orange once it's about an inch in diameter. Then that's when it will be ready to harvest. But the ones I planted back here, most of them have pretty much sprouted. They're real small still, if you can see them. But they sprouted, and I'll probably plant some more either today or next week, just to fill up the rest of that row. The lettuce, it might look a little smaller than it did last time because we've been harvesting and eating some of the lettuce, as you can see right here. And I'm probably actually going to harvest the rest of this plant right here. So basically, harvesting the rest of this lettuce. This lettuce is like perfect for lettuce wraps. You can put meat in it, put other vegetables in it, and it's big enough to hold a lot of stuff. So that's what we've been using it for. But I'm just harvesting one of these plants today. I'll probably harvest another one in the next week or so, and I'll just throw this away. But I'm gonna plant some more lettuce probably in that same spot right there. Then moving over to the left, got the celery. The celery is still growing pretty slowly, in my opinion, but you can see the growth like week by week. But the way celery is harvested all in one bunch all together. So I'll have a whole lot of celery in a couple weeks once they're all ready. Planted some more lettuce right here. As you can see, they just sprouted. And then right behind that lettuce, of course, I planted the spinach. So that's just sprouting as well right there. And then right there. And then behind that is the celery. Nothing really to do there. It's been raining all week, so I haven't really had to water it. The soil's been basically stayed moist all week. But the celery, they'll sprout within the next couple of days or so. Eggplant, a lot of the true leaves have really been growing. I think these 3 leaves have grown all within the last week and a half. But like I said, it's been raining all week, so I haven't had to do a whole lot of watering. Just really watching it to make sure it hasn't been like overwatered, but it's not really much I can do when it's rain. The okra is looking pretty healthy so far, getting real strong and tall. And then the okra I planted right behind it has just started to sprout. So once they get fully out of the ground, once they sprout fully out of the ground, they'll be able to catch basically all the sun. And then the guano hasn't sprouted yet. I don't think there will be any issues with it, but it was only planted 7 days ago. They usually sprout within like 7 to 10 days. So there's just nothing there yet, but no worries, it should sprout pretty soon. And then the strawberries, not much of an update here. A couple new leaves have formed, but that's about it, no fruits or anything. And then same with the other strawberry plant. But that's really all I'll harvest from this garden bed today. It's just a little bit of lettuce, and then once this lettuce runs out, I'll probably just keep harvesting from these plants and then replanting some more, just so I'll have it for the rest of the summer too. So next I'll show the other garden bed over here. All right, so I got a lot going on over here still. As you can see, the cucumbers have really sprouted, got some of their true leaves that have already grown. If you remember on my last episode, I had 4 plants there. So once they got about about an inch or two tall. I went ahead and just thinned them out, and to thin it out, all I did was like pluck the other seedling right there at soil level. So I'm not sure if you can really see. I plucked it right there at soil level. That way it doesn't disturb the roots of the two ones that I'm going to keep. So I kept those two. Then I actually got another hole right here. Just kind of dug out so I can plant some more cucumber seeds after I finish recording this video. The zucchini looks pretty good. Just 2 plants here. I'm gonna keep both of those plants. I only planted 2 seeds and both of them sprouted just fine. But I'm gonna plant some more zucchini behind the squash next week. Probably it'll be about a month since I planted the first ones, the original ones. For here, I think it's 3 plants that have sprouted. So actually 4 plants that have sprouted. So what I'm actually gonna do is thin them out right now. So the same way I did the cucumbers is how I'm gonna do these. Basically, you just right to the soil level and you pinch hard enough where it just breaks the entire stem. So I'll do that again. I chose that one since it was like one of the smaller plants. A couple of the other ones are already bigger, so probably a little more healthy. And then I'll probably do this one right here. Probably do this one right here. Just thin it out by plucking it right there at soil level. And it's basically a full clean cut all the way through. That's where like nipping it in the bud comes from, that phrase. Like you basically nipping it real early, killing it real early, so you don't have to worry about it later. But basically did the same thing. So I'll just toss these into the compost bucket, just like I tossed those. I'll put them at the bottom of the compost bucket. It'll break down pretty quickly. I'll just leave it to the side right now. So for the kale, haven't really been eating any of these. I want the leaves to get a little bit bigger before I eat them. I use kale mainly for smoothies. So really the smaller, I can collect them or harvest them when they're small to be easier to blend. But if I do want to eat it in like a salad or something, I do prefer bigger leaves. So that's why I'm letting it grow a little bit longer. The ones right there in the middle look pretty healthy so far. Not getting as much sunlight. The other kale is kind of covering it up, but it still should be fine for right now. It can use a little shade, it won't hurt it. The pepper plants have really been taking off this week. I keep mentioning it, but it rained all week. So I haven't had to worry about watering the plants. So they've gotten plenty of water over the last couple, probably about 3 or 4 days. And the next 3 or 4 days will be sunlight. So it's great that they drank a whole lot. Now they'll be able to just kind of like grow using the sunlight over the next couple days. But here's the same thing, the jalapeno plant in the pot. You can see right here, it's about to start flowering already. I'm not sure if you can really, it's real small, but you can see it's about to start flowering already. The ones in the pot. So it looks like it's flowering quicker in the pots than it is in the garden bed. And my theory behind that is I think the soil is a little bit looser. So I feel like the roots are a little bit more developed in the pot than they are in the garden bed. But I think the nutrients are stronger I think the soil is more fertile in the garden bed. So I think the actual vegetables will taste better from the garden bed than they will in the pot. But I think they'll just, I think I'll get the vegetables quicker in the pot. But that's just a theory right now. The habanero peppers have been going crazy in the pot. I think it's the same exact. My hypothesis is the same on both of those. Like that's the plant in the garden bed. And then this is the plant that's in the pot, and it looks like it's developing way quicker. And then the same thing with the bell peppers as well. They're closer in size and shape than the other two, but I think it's still the same thing. Over here is the tomatoes. Now the tomatoes, they've grown like crazy over the last couple days. The rain, tomatoes really can use a whole lot of water. So over the last few weeks, last few days, the water from the rain has really been feeding the plants. And they've grown at least 6 inches within the last week, so probably like an inch a day. And that's why I got the tomato cages up here now. So like you can see how big the plants start to get and how top heavy they can be. The cage will just basically hold it up so it doesn't like fall all over the place, and it gives you enough space where you can grow other stuff near it and beside it. But all 3 of them have really grown real quickly. If you can look at the stems are real thick. And what I end up doing is some of the small leaves that were at the bottom just kind of dragging in the soil, I went ahead and just pulled those off. It'll encourage the plant to keep growing up instead of like growing outwards only. But that's the 3rd one right here. All of them about the same size. This one is the tallest so far, but this one, it looks like has the most foliage out of all of them, like the most leaves. And it looks like it's already starting to flower as well too. And then last but not least is some of the leafy vegetables and then the beets. Here is the Swiss chard. I actually harvested one of these leaves already. I'll harvest a couple more today. But Swiss chard is a leafy vegetable, and basically all of this is edible right here. So I'm harvesting a couple of those leaves, probably just the bigger ones, so the smaller ones can keep growing, and I planted a couple more in that same pot that'll be ready to harvest in the next couple weeks as well. So I'll continue to plant these all summer. That way I'll have Swiss chard all summer. But that's basically what a harvest will look like. The leaf is, I mean, the size of my hand, if not a little bit bigger. Same for the spinach. I'm about to harvest some of those, and they're the same way. You can harvest the entire leaf if you want. You can harvest it as early as you want to, as late as you want to. If you want baby spinach, harvest it early. If you want normal size spinach, harvest it now. If you want real large leaves, harvest it later. But it's the same thing. Just harvest it whenever you want to. It'll pretty much taste the same no matter what part of the process it's in. And then the beets right here. So the beets, some of the beets are actually almost ready. You can see the root kind of growing and poking out right here. Similar to the carrots, they'll get to a certain size, and once they get to a certain size, then that's whenever you'll know whenever it's ready to harvest. And then what I did too, since the leaves on them were growing so big, I put a couple little plastic sticks into the soil to hold the leaves back. That way the ones that I just planted can still get enough sunlight to, you know, be able to take care of it and grow. So yeah, over the next couple weeks, I'll really be harvesting a lot of things, especially with the leafy vegetables like the Swiss chard and the spinach. And then also what I'll be doing is replanting some of the vegetables that I'll plant in succession. It'll be basically 4 weeks since I planted these next week, and the cucumbers. So I want to make sure that I have harvest over the next couple weeks from these plants, and then once this harvest is done, I'll still have a harvest from the plants that I'm gonna plant next week. And for the cucumbers, as soon as it starts to get more of like a vine type shape, once it starts to rapidly grow, I'll make a quick video of how to train the cucumbers to grow up. That way you can grow more plants in a smaller amount of space. Because cucumbers grow on vines, they can really take over an entire garden. But if you grow it upward using like a tomato cage or one of these big cages right here, you'll be able to save a whole lot of space and grow way more cucumbers in a vertical fashion, rather than just growing them horizontally in a vine way. But this kind of wraps up the entire episode, or the entire video. Tune into my next ones. As I think what I'll do over the next couple weeks is I'll upload basically like a vlog type episode once a week. And then throughout the week, if there's anything specific I do in the garden, like doing the cucumbers and growing them upward, or replanting other vegetables, or teaching how to harvest, I'll make videos of those sporadically. But the rest I'll plan on just having like a vlog type video every week, just to at least give updates and kind of give tips along the way as I'm in the garden doing work. But this kind of wraps it up. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time, peace.